We have ourselves some midnight news. In the midnight hour, she cried more, more, more. In the NHL, we got more, more, more. Now, as you can see, this is a live clock tab website that I have here. It's 1:23 a.m. as I am recording this audio. But just a few hours ago, at the stroke of midnight, we had ourselves an update from the St. Louis Blues. Jesse Corville-Lynch has the tweet over here. The Blues are signing Milan Lucic to a PTO, the team has announced. And this was at 11:47 p.m. The article itself, if you go over to stlouisblues.com, they do have the piece scheduled for 6 a.m. 6 a.m.? What time zone are you talking about? It's 1:24 a.m. here on the west. At most, it's 4:24 in the east. Maybe 5:24 if you're going really, really eastern U.S. But man, 6 a.m. news. They couldn't even wait till 6 a.m. the next day to post the thing, because we were already talking about this news when this article was published online. But as it already says in the title and thumbnail of this video, what in the world? The St. Louis Blues are signing Milan Lucic? Let's dive into Lucic's write-up over here on the Blues website just to get an idea as to how bizarre this really is. Even though I'm an action star, sometimes I'm an act bizarre. Let's go out there and read. St. Louis Blues President of Hockey Ops and GM Doug Armstrong announced today that the Blues have signed forward Milan Lucic to a PTO. And Milan is bolded for whatever reason. Lucic, 37, last appeared with the Boston Bruins in 23-24, where he posted up 2 assists in 4 regular season games. That's half a point a game, mind you. Not bad, honestly. But the 4 games, you would prefer that to be a little bit increased. In November of that season, Milan Lucic took an indefinite leave of absence from the team and later entered the NHL and NHLPA's Players Assistance Program. Lucic has since completed the program and has been reinstated by the National Hockey League. Overall, the Vancouver, BC native is a veteran of 17 NHL seasons, including 9 with Boston, 4 with the Calgary Flames, 3 with the Edmonton Oilers, and 1 with the LA Kings. Honestly, if you had asked me how many seasons Milan Lucic played in LA, my mind's eye would have been 2, maybe 3. 1's a little tiny, I feel, but maybe that's just my perception of time getting altered here. Across 1,177 career regular season games, Lucic has totaled 586 points, 233 goals, and 353 assists, as well as 1,301 penalty minutes. He also recorded 77 points in 136 postseason games, capturing the 2011 Stanley Cup with Boston. Now, Milan Lucic's profile is really interesting here, because as the write-up did say, he's 37 years old now. 6'3", 231, left-handed left-wing guy, drafted by Boston back in 2006, and an inevitable Stanley Cup champion. He was a Vancouver boy, Vancouver-raised, Vancouver local kid who played for the Coquitlam Express, the Delta IceHawks, the Vancouver Giants. I had friends who played for the Delta IceHawks growing up in high school over here. But he was a Vancouver Giant, and a pretty good one at that, who inevitably broke out and became a 60-point scorer with the Boston Bruins. He scored 62 points, 30 goals, and 32 assists in that 2010-11 season before inevitably winning the Stanley Cup. He also was a near point-per-game monster with Boston in their second run to the finals in short order in 2013, inevitably losing to Chicago. Give it a few more seasons, and Milan Lucic eventually becomes one of the many free agents that signs a really big hefty deal in the 2015 offseason. He went over to LA, then found himself over in Edmonton, had some productive seasons over there, before going over to the Calgary Flames. Now, with the Flames, Lucic had, I'd say, maybe one good season, quote-unquote. It was this second one over here, 2020-2021. He had 23 points in 56 games played, which is roughly under half a point a game, but still better than all the other seasons he had here, point production-wise. There was some intensity. Milan Lucic is a very physical player, and there's a lot of aura that he brings anytime he steps out there onto the ice. You don't want to mess with Milan Lucic because this is a guy who can really make your day difficult. And then he eventually went back over to Boston. He shipped back up to Boston, whoa, getting 2 points in 4 games. As we had said, the point production's not bad. Half a point a game is reasonable for any NHL player, I'd say. But 4 games played, he just was not capable of sticking around. He needed to spend some time in the NHL's Players Assistance Program, which, look, if it takes a year, 2 years for him to get into the program and fully encapsulate himself in its teachings and its lessons, then okay, that's great. As long as he is capable of recovering and getting out in a proper mental and physical capacity to the point that the NHL can actually clear him, then that's ultimately what matters the most here, right? It's just so interesting to me that the St. Louis Blues are the team to go out there and give Lucic that opportunity. They're going out there and saying, yeah, remember that guy who only played 4 games 2 seasons ago? Let's sign him to a PTO. Maybe there is some sort of a Zachary Bolduc buyer's remorse going on over here. Milan Lucic stepping into that role that Bolduc left on the third line, the bottom 6 of the lineup. Bolduc definitely did have some intensity and some snarl, but I would probably say at this point, Milan Lucic, I'm not going to say I've seen the guy skate in the past 2 years or whatever, but I would assume that Bolduc is a lot more mobile than Lucic is at this point. Also, Bolduc has a really good shot. Who knows if Lucic still has any sort of a goal-scoring touch present in his body at all? I mean, the last NHL goal he had scored was all the way back in, let's just see right here. So, 22-23, and then we go back over to February 4th, 2023. Milan Lucic hasn't scored an NHL goal in over 2 years. Who knows if he's going to be able to fully bring back what is being left out by the absence of Zachary Bolduc in the Blues lineup. But ultimately, this is one topic of many that we'll get into over the next few days as PTOs start to be signed and as NHL teams try to get their chips in with these older players. Milan Lucic is coming out of the shadows here, folks. 37 years old, and he's ready to tango with yet another one of these Boston rivals. Another. I don't think he was really with any other Boston rival, to be honest, but he's going over to St. Louis now. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the St. Louis Blues signing Lucic to a PTO? It's some midnight news here because the article was supposedly released late in the night, hours before it was supposed to be released on Tuesday, August 19th. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Milan Lucic going over to St. Louis on a PTO. Do you think he'll stick around? Do you think he'll make the team? If he's not good enough, if he's not conditioned enough, then he'll just get cut and he'll be going back to free agency. So that's like reasonably likely, I'd say, but we'll see what happens, right? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.